I'm going to wait a few minutes to see if other people are coming on, but once again, welcome everyone. Just going to wait about 2-3 minutes to make sure that everyone is on. Once again, welcome. I will start in a few and bring up my PowerPoint and just waiting for other people to log in. I see a few people coming in. We do have chat off because of the number of people that are on today, but Debbie and Amy, once she comes on, will be monitoring chat. Debbie, can you send a message to Amy reminding her?
Of
For
course.
those of you who know Amy, you will laugh that she's not on yet. I'm going to share my screen. Ah, there she is. Excellent. Thank you. There's Amy. I am just waiting a few more minutes to see if other people are coming on. And I will get started, and we've left this open so people can join as they'd like. So I'll get started. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is, I'll start. It's our webinar on navigating the new QuickBooks interface. So everyone can just maybe do a show of hands and Amy can look through it. If you can possibly just go to the, just trying to see, the spot to raise your hand. Or if you turn off your video, how many of you have embraced the new, or I'll say, how many of you do not like, we'll do a show of hands because I didn't do a poll for this. How many of you just don't like the new interface and are saying, why did QuickBooks do this?
Regina's hands raised loud and proud.
So I'm going to start with, I was that way about 3 months ago and said, what is this? I've now embraced it and actually love working through it. So I'm hoping that by the end of our hour, you will feel the same way that I do about it. I just want to make sure that everyone can see my PowerPoint. Amy, Debbie, you can see it perfectly.
Yep. Perfect.
Just a couple of housekeeping things, and then I'll go to my introduction. We have asked everyone to mute just because of the large amount of people that are on this. So let me start. Esther, you raised your hand. Is that you don't like it or you have a question? You can unmute for a moment.
I don't like it.
Okay. Okay. So we are, and that's the reason we're doing this, because so many of you have said to us, I just don't like it. So hopefully by the end of today, I can give you the good overview on how to go through it and how you can play with it. Start to say a couple of housekeeping. We have muted people. If we need to ask you a question or elaborate on a question that you have, we'll have you unmute. Debbie and Amy from our team are both on here. They're going to be monitoring chat, and after each section, we'll go back. Hopefully, the presentation will be about 45 minutes, and we'll leave about 15 minutes at the end. If you want me to go back to something, put it in chat, and we can go through that. And I'm going to try to be mindful of everyone's time and get this done in the next 15 minutes, and hopefully we'll have a stop. Excuse me, if I don't choke. At 4 o'clock Eastern time. So, who am I? Hi, I'm Lori Swartz. I am the Client Solutions Advisor and Professional Services Consultant at Siegel Solutions. I have been with Siegel Solutions for 21 years. The company itself started 22 years ago. So we have gone through every iteration of QuickBooks, starting with QuickBooks, I'm going to say 08, or it was called QuickBooks 8, forward into the 1990s through the 2000s and forward, up to the bad QuickBooks Online years ago to the newest, the newest QuickBooks Online and the newest interface. So we've seen it all. Firm itself, we do outsourcing accounting. Many of you are our clients. Outsourcing accounting, QuickBooks consulting, third-party QuickBooks integration, including inventory systems, field services, CRMs. We have been voted for the last 3 years a top 50 CIS. If somebody is not muted, can you please mute? Check that, Amy. Unless it's one. Top 50 CIS practice, which is CIS, if you don't know, is Client Accounting and Advisory Services practiced by the Woodard Group. I myself am an advanced certified ProAdvisor, and I have been voted one of the top 100 ProAdvisors by Insightful Accountants. That's just a little bit about me. This is our agenda for today, but before we have our agenda, I'm just going to launch a quick poll because there's so many of you from different areas, and we're curious how you found out about us. So I'm going to launch the poll. And it's just for our own internal. How did you find out about today? It's a webinar series that we're starting. This is our first one. We're going to announce our second one at the end of this and ask for suggestions at the end. But we'd like to know where you're finding us. So I'll leave that up for another minute. We're getting there. Oh, we're at 76%. Thank you. Perfect. I'm going to end it. If you didn't get a chance to put it in, if you can just throw it into chat, that would be great. Perfect. So welcome to the new interface. Our agenda for today, and this is to review the interface. I'm not going to be going into a lot of teaching on how QuickBooks works, but to review the new interface and show you the new features that they've added. So first area is going to take the bulk of our time, which is really the new interface. And I'll be referring to UI a lot, which is the user interface and the user experience. We'll then move into the banking center and then the customer hub and estimates and invoices. They've separated that out in the new interface. Moving into reports and the new modern reports, then a couple of interesting add-ons that they have. So this is everything, and I'm going to read this real quickly and then bring over a QuickBooks Online file. Things that they've done for the new UI, the new user interface, and the new experience is they've done pinned apps. You've been seeing My Apps, expanded bookmarks. My favorite feature is their expanded search and the advanced transaction search, and I'll show you some great examples on that, along with the customized search screen. And then we have our dashboard widgets, our quick items on there and icons, their change of terminology, how you can hide financial information, and the business fee. A lot of information to go through in the next 15, 20 minutes. Once again, feel free to go to chat within Zoom and put things in chat that Debbie and Amy are monitoring. If they can answer the questions, they will. If not, at the end of the section, we'll do a quick Q&A, and we'll do a longer one at the end. close out of that poll. Perfect. Okay, here we go. Just want to make sure everyone can see it. So the new interface and how we're dealing with it. So the first thing is, and I'm probably going to jump around a little bit on this but it cover everything that was in the agenda. The new interface has 3 sections. So we have our main section, our left side, similar to what you had in the old interface, just some differences on it. And part of it is customizable now. We have our top apps are up here. And I'll go through each thing. We have our quick create actions. And remember, these are all customizable for the user. So if you change this around, other users for your file will see it differently. So it's all your own personal customization that we're going to be doing on these. Our widgets down here. And then our search bar here. No longer a little magnifying glass, and it's a lot more powerful. The one thing that I will mention is our gear. So if we go up top, our gear has stayed the same. Yay. But other things up here they've added, and I'll start up here, they've added some more little icons. I am using QuickBooks Online Advanced, and if I show you a feature that is only in Pro or Advanced, I will let you know that. So first is that little lightning bolt, which is our workflow automations. It's the easy way to get to it in QuickBooks Online Advanced. The next little widget is My Integration. My Integrations, this is one of those terminology changes that My Integrations it was called apps or your app center in the previous interface. It's now your integrations. Any third-party app that you have integrated into QuickBooks will be listed here. So it's under that little computer up top. So if you use Bill.com, Divvy, so I should really be calling them Bill Spend and Bill Pay, that would show here. If you have Shopify, hooked in, any third-party app that you have hooked in, reporting apps, things like that, will now show right here under My Integrations. And you can also find integrations. So what Intuit used to refer to as their App Center is now their Integration Center. And when we click on this, it will bring you into www.apps.com. And those are all the third-party apps. And we can do a future webinar on third-party apps with third-party apps that link into QuickBooks. And then we have our reminders. And our tasks are here. And then everything else. One thing I always like to show, it's not a new feature, but a lot of people have never seen it, is if you go to the gear and you scroll down to other information or additional information. These are all keystroke shortcuts. They've been there. A lot of people don't see them, so I always like to show it. So these are all your little shortcuts that if you hold down the control key on your keyboard and the invoice will pop up. So it's a little bit different. This is also your company information. If you're ever on the phone with Intuit or need to give your company ID, that's where you would find. So that was a bonus for this. So I'm going to go back on the left and go to dashboard. So the first thing, I mentioned one change of terminology, which was the App Center is now My Integrations. The other terminology change is right here. And that is the plus create. In the old interface, it said plus new. So whenever somebody would say, how do I do an invoice? We would say, go to the plus new. Really not plus new, you're creating. So it's the plus create. These menus are still the same. But you can take your favorite ones, things that you're going to all the time, like creating an invoice, bill pay, receive payment. The other ones I go to all the time, bank deposit, trying to think of the other ones, journal entry, transfer, any of these that are over here in the create. This is your create actions here. So you can actually put your favorite ones here. And how you would do that is, these are the favorites that I've put here. They do default them, but I can go to show all. And when I'm on the show all, This is all of our creates. This is the same as that plus create menu that we were looking at earlier. But if you click it with a star, it's going to bring it up into this create action. So it's just a nice place to say, okay, this is what I use all the time. I'm just going to go to the dashboard, click right on it. So I can say, I want to also add record payment to here. And I'm going to scroll down and I want to don't add live bookkeeping. Add, I have inventory and I want to do, let's say, create sales orders or create a purchase order. I want that there. You can only do 10. So we'd have to get rid of one. So I can get rid of create a purchase order and change that to create a sales order. And it should go in there. When I hit save, it shows them to me and it'll show me my 5 that I want. I can go back and I can actually rearrange the order. And just a nice way to do that. So those are the create actions that they've added onto your desktop or onto your dashboard. And they changed the name of the plus create right here. Do bookmarks in a second. Now looking here, the second new addition is just this whole bar right up here. And that is actually the same as the My Apps. So in the old interface, it listed customers, expenses. They kept changing the name of things, but you had your different, we'll call centers if you were ever a desktop user. You had your different centers. They are now under My Apps and up here. So let's say I click on accounting. It will expand it with all the features that we had before under accounting. So if I actually click on it, it will bring up another toolbar. It does make the screen smaller for your main bar. So once you get to the area that you want to get to, say reconcile, I can then go right here to the hamburger next to My Apps and collapse that. You cannot collapse the far left column, but you can collapse the My Apps column. But let's say you don't like the order of this. So I'm for now going to first go back to my dashboard. And as you see, the same order here is the same order in My Apps, but I want to change the order. So I'm actually going to go all the way down to customize. And this is where you can customize it. You can pin 3 of them. So that's what's right here under more. They're basically doing an overkill of everything that you want to see. But I want to go in and I want to see this in a different order. I want to see my customer hub, my sales, and my expenses. And I want to unpin expenses and pin customer hub. So I just rearrange the order a little bit. When I hit save, it will rearrange the order here. So just another quick way. And as you see, I clicked very, very quickly. And the minute I clicked on customers, it brought up that customer sidebar and went into the customer hub. We'll do that next. And then finally, 2 more things. So I saved the best for 3 more things. This little eye right here, I always like to mention it. It was in the older versions. It was more of a toggle. This is how you hide financial information from being seen on your dashboard. So you're working, a coworker comes up to you. They don't have access to QuickBooks. You don't want them to see your P&L. You don't want them to see anything on your dashboard. You can just click on the eye and that hides financial information. And then we have our dashboard. The dashboard, once again, is customizable solely for you. You can put on it whatever you want, but it's just really nice ways to get a quick view of what's going on with the company. You can customize it to add widgets. So you can add and remove widgets from here. That hit add a widget. And I want, these are the different widgets and I want a certain one to go on. I can get rid of, let's say, deposits and add in my customer get paid funnel and it will add it there. I can also rearrange things. So I can bring things back and forth. I can delete them if you don't want to see them. If you only want to see 2 widgets, delete them. And the way that you delete them is we go to customize again, and you just hit the delete. I like to have the bank accounts there, and I'll show you the great thing about bank accounts now. What's nice is just from a quick view, you can say your expenses, and you can say this fiscal year, and be able to see your little graph. And we can see our categories. There's 12, 14, and be able to customize things right through here. You can view it as a report. So we like this report. I can go right here. Just quick ways that they're giving us to be able to maneuver through QuickBooks. And what's great about accounts is in the old one, it was hard to get to your registers. You had to go to chart of accounts, you had to go to your banking, click on registers, you had to go different places. They've added that into the bank account widgets. So you can just say, go to register and go to your check register, and it will open up your register. So really nice way to navigate. 2 more things. How am I doing on time, Debbie? Good.
It's pretty good, 3:20.
Perfect. Thank you. I mentioned before the search. In the old version of QuickBooks, or the old interface, it was just a little magnifying glass, and you really could only search for things within a transaction, an amount, a memo, things like that. They've added a really, really nice blanket search. I want to show you 2 things that I love about it. First, when you click on the navigate and search transaction, it will give you your last 5 recent transactions. You can actually do 10. If I click there, that then gives me my last 10. I'm going to go back. It gave me my last 5. So you don't have to go back to audit trail. You don't have to go back to, that type of transaction and go back. You can find them right through here. And then we can do an amount search. So let's say I want to find something for $18. I can type 18.00, and it will find all the transactions I have, the last probably 20 for them. It does go back 2 years within your regular search versus the 1 year on the old. But it also shows us other things besides transactions that have that 18 in them. It's showing me my transaction. It says I also have some projects. But it will also search for different things within QuickBooks. Reports. You want to find your unpaid bills report. Instead of going to your reports over to the left and finding the report, searching for anything like that right in the search, it's saying, okay, these are my quick jumps. Maybe it's in there. These are the different reports that are there. And it'll then bring up different help that you want to help with it. It'll bring up QuickBooks Help. And I can go right here to the unpaid bills and bring it up. Very, very easy. For a purpose of bookmarks, oh, one more thing before I go to bookmarks. The other thing is your advanced transaction search. This is great. This is a great way to create a transaction report on the fly. First of all, this search bar is customizable, so you can say, what do you want to see? You might want to see on this for columns that I want to see the last modified date. So for an audit trail, I really don't need to see, let's say, the memo. Oops, that didn't stay. And you have to be patient when you click it. We can say different rows, how many we want to see. We can say, I want to see 200 on this. How we want to sort it. So you can customize this whole toolbar, and also our filters. But I like to filter it a different way. Right now, this is where it's filtering. It's filtering for everything. But now I want to create a report. I have a client, or I am a nonprofit, and I need to show the board all of the expenditures for the month over $1,000. I can go right here and say, I want to see, I'm going to do for this year. And then I'm going to go to transaction type and say, I want to see all bill payments. And I can add on to this. And as you see, It's going there. I want to say all bill payments, all check. And all expenses. So that should cover all the expenditures that went out. I can actually say contact. I can say for a certain vendor, but I'm going to go to amount. And this is just something that you can play around with, but I'm loving it. I want to say everything that's greater or equal to $1,000. And through that advanced transaction search, it now created this for me. It did estimates instead of expenses. So I can actually, I go right here to the filter. The one thing I don't like is you can't uncheck something. So I'll have to start that transaction filter again. For bill payment, expense, and check. Created that greater than or equal to, yep. I'm realizing I don't need to see balance. So I can actually go to filters and get rid of balance. And I'm able to just get a quick report right here. May not want to see the last modified. And then what's great is I can go here, I can download it right to an Excel, or I can go right to print. If you're going to do this, you want to do it in landscape. And I can print out this report right here and have that report for all those transactions. So that's just a quick way to play around with and see, close out of that, how the advanced transaction search works. And then before we take a quick break out of this and go to any questions you have, bookmarks. My favorite new feature, because they've expanded the bookmarks, that you can bookmark anything. There's a couple different ways to bookmark. One, which I think is a little bit floppy or harder to do, but you can just go right here to that pencil, search for your favorite things that you go to. Like I'm going to just type in reconcile, and it'll bookmark that for me. And I also, let's say we'll do recurring transaction, and I'll save it. So when I go to bookmarks, they're right there. The other way that you can bookmark is right through my apps. So if I go to accounting, I see that little flag next to the reconcile and recurring. And those are the ones that I just bookmarked, but I want to bookmark bank transactions. And then I'm going to go up to customers and bookmark my customers. And I'm going to go down to, now that I moved it, to expenses, bookmark my vendors. And because I always hate going over to reports and going to standard, I'm going to just bookmark my standard reports. So now when I go to bookmarks, they're right there. And I can then go to the pencil and rearrange them in the order that I want. So you can bookmark. I have not found a limit on bookmark. I've bookmarked on some of our files 20. So you can bookmark as many as you want and just have an easy way to get to the transactions in my apps that you go to a lot. But you also see down here, bookmark current page. I use that for reports. So what I can do is go to, not account setting. I can go to those reports that I just bookmarked. Thought I bookmarked reports. I didn't. Bookmark standard reports. And go to, I'm actually going to go into custom reports and take this budget to actual for 2025 that I put in here. And I want to look at that all the time. So I don't want to keep going over to bookmarks and then bringing it in. So I can go back to bookmarks, bookmark my current page. So the reports that you go to often, you can bookmark those right in your bookmark. So you can mark, tag them into your bookmarks. So I can just click right on it and get that report. So bookmarks are really, really powerful. Let me move over. Anything I didn't? I think we hit everything.
Lori,
Yes.
if somebody has more than one QBO file, do they have to do the bookmarks in each file, right?
Yes. So the bookmarks and your dashboard customizations that I went through are all file dependent, not user. They're user dependent per file. So they do not carry over from QuickBooks account to QuickBooks account or from subscription to subscription. That was a great question. Any other questions, Debbie or Amy?
Nothing in the chat.
Did anyone have any questions? Anything that you want me to show you within this before I move over to the next section? Actually unmute yourself and ask.
Laurie, can you still do tabs? I use tabs for like customer, tabs for vendor. So I just jumped to that tab. So across the screen, I have 5 or 6 tabs. You can still do that?
You could do it up here. So that's where you would bookmark them, Regina.
But you can't add another tab. So at where you see what I'm saying? You're using one tab up top here at the very top left. I go over and do the plus sign and I add a tab for customer, a tab for vendor, a tab for reports.
Lori, above the address bar.
I'm sorry.
At the
Yeah.
very, very top.
Like a new browser?
Yeah.
Up here. So yes. So what Regina's saying is you can create different browsers that you have memorized that will open into that.
Okay, but that still works with this new version.
Yes, because right. Because so what Regina's talking about is she actually goes up here and will create she will duplicate this and have one for each, and they're memorized right here.
Thank you.
Do you know what, Regina? I just learned something new. So I never thought of doing that.
That's how I live.
Actually, it's ingenious, Regina, I think.
Somebody else showed me.
I might try that. I might try that now.
Yeah, I have easily every day. That's the first thing I do. 5 tabs get opened. So anyway, that's it. Oh, I'm glad. I forget who told me that, but it wasn't me.
So brilliant. Thank you, Regina. So yes, that would still work. Duplicating, if you haven't known how to do it, you can open up multiple browsers. You would just go, you would right click up on your browser and hit duplicate tab and create a new one. Okay. Moving right along. Banking. So they did start to change the banking feature before. That was their first change in the user interface was in banking. They've added a lot more features. They've made it easier. Once you learn it, they've made it easier to navigate through it. So I'm going to go through terminology. They changed, and I'll show you where they changed it. They changed terminology. It used to be add, it's now post. And they used to have categorize versus now it's pending in terms of your grouping for transactions. When you look at categorization history, so if you look at a vendor and want to know your categorization history, it used to go back 12 months. It now goes back 24 months. You can add a new vendor very easily on the fly. I'm going to show you an example of how you can upload a PDF statement for your manual upload. So if you have a bank account that is not directly connected into QuickBooks, either Access or just, Amex just never is working, you need to do it on your own. You can still go into that bank or credit card account and download the .qbo file, but you can also upload it through a PDF, through a statement that I'll show you. They do have an AI categorize. I have to mention it because I'm an advanced ProAdvisor and they forced me to. No, you can giggle at me, but I prefer the human eye versus the AI because there's times that The AI doesn't work. And the best example I always give is if you're in Massachusetts and you do your annual filing with the state, they charge an expediting fee. And the AI in QuickBooks thinks that the expediting fee is actually Expedia and will put that $2.25 to travel. So that's why I still like the human eye. They've added the full bank description hover tool in it. There is now a client, or I call it a user collaboration, that if you're going through your banking and have a question on something, you can send a message to another user. There is, like, say, a hidden split. There's other places to split a transaction besides opening it. And there's also, and unfortunately, I won't be able to demo it, but there is an auto bank reconcile feature that you can now upload your bank statement when you reconcile and it'll auto reconcile for you. Something to play around with, but I am mentioning that because I'm not on a live file. I don't have true bank features. So I apologize for that. So let's move over. So I'm going to go, remember, to easy way. I'm going to go to my bookmarks and click on, how did my bookmarks get lost? I zoom there, my bookmarks, click on bank transactions. So we have our account. I'm actually going to bring in another account in a minute, just so you can see how it works. So when we go here, this changed a slight bit. So it used to say, you know, categorize, post and exclude. So now it says pending, which is great. So this is saying these are transactions that are pending, waiting for you to post, or, and I'll go back and forth, waiting for you to post or for you to categorize. Anytime you post something, it moves over to posted, unless for some reason you don't want it posted, and it moves to excluded. You do have the option to switch back to the previous version. I don't recommend it because it's going to come to the point of QuickBooks is going to get rid of that. Just like very soon they're going to get rid of the option to move to the old interface. So I always say try it, use it for a few weeks, embrace it, and then you will never be clicking on that again. So most things, I'll go back to pending. You could do right from this screen. You don't have to expand on it anymore, except for suggested. So when it says suggested, you just want to be able to click. And you can then go to the match. If the suggested match is not there, you can say find other matches. Close out that. It now gives you the option right here. And as you see, I don't have my other options to the left. So I do want to go up to my apps to, I call it the hamburger, and hide that so I can see our actions. So the actions are now here and they're great. So I can either say match it, create a rule, go to categorization history, and that'll show you, or exclude. But let's say it's saying, I think this is the match, and you know that it's not. It's matching an amount, but it's not a true match. You can click right here to categorize and be able to, without expanding it, put in your to from, put it in class if you have it. It'll go to categorize, put in the GL account. And what's great is this categorization history. If you're not sure where to put it, you can always click on categorization history, and it will show you the history of everything to this Thule insurance. So I'm going to show you, I can go right here, go to categorization history, and it'll say this is the most recent. Where do we want to put it? I can then say, please put it in automobile insurance, and then assign the category, and then post it. So it's a really nice way to make sure that you're consistent with things. I'm going to go over to the credit card because that came in from the bank. The other things that they've done, you can always expand on this and be able to put in more information, but you don't need to. But when you expand, This is where the AI comes in. And it's looking at ShopMonkey. And it's saying, okay, we're pretty sure that you should consider office supply. And it's telling you about ShopMonkey. So this is where the AI categorization is coming in, that it's telling you what it is, how to do it. Do you want to add it to your vendor list right here? That's the quick adding the vendor on the fly. So it does use AI for the vendor name, just being able, just going from the memo and being able to do that, giving you the full description. But what I was saying before is without opening that up, I can hover over the bank description and it will show me the whole bank description right from there. I don't have to expand into that transaction. You can also, without expanding into the transaction, put in your vendor name right from here. I can do a quick add right here because it caught it. And I can do the post and I can put everything in. So it's making it, but let's say I want to do a split. Let's say this wholesale needs to be split between 2 accounts. In the past, we had to expand on it, go down, click on split. Now, all we need to do is go right to that, go right to the action, go to our pull down, and we can do a quick hidden split right there. And it'll expand it right here to do your split. So just a nice way to work through that. Talked before about requests. So let's say you get to a transaction that you need a receipt for, you need something for, or you need more information. What is this $2,000 for Bermuda, Bermuda touristry? Was this an advertisement? Was this an owner's draw for a trip? You need some more information from it. What you can actually do is click on the transaction, and down below, you get the request more information. And you could say, ask for a receipt, ask for more information, and you add it to your request list. Or you can add and post it. So, you can post it and come back to it, but you can also just leave it here, add it to the request list. And it said request was added, and now we see there's 2 requests. And I can click right on requests. It will open up another screen. The requests are sent to users. Right now in this file, I'm the only user, so I'm sending myself requests. But you can just say who to send it to. And I can just click right there and go here and just expand. And right up here, I can send the request. And you can then choose who you want to send it to. So they do need to be a user within QuickBooks, but you can send a request to any user. It's a nice new cool feature. The other cool feature, and I mentioned it before, is in the old version, you can link an account like you did before and link it to your online banking. But you could also, almost done. You can upload from a file. So you can, in the past, we would need to, let's say, go into Amex, download it as a QuickBooks file, and then upload it. Now, when we go to upload, you will see, I'll add another, that the supported formats are now PFD, JPEG. So it's all these formats, including the .qbo file. So what I can do is go here. I'm going to put it into, let's say, the QuickBooks. And I can upload. And I'm going to grab, I'm going to actually drag and drop a PDF. And what it's doing behind the scenes right now is it's reading that QuickBooks, I'm sorry, not that QuickBooks, that it's actually a credit card, but it's reading the credit card statement. And it's going through, extracting everything. We'll give it a minute. While that's going, Amy or Debbie, are there any questions that I can answer while this is chugging away?
Yeah,
When
Regina. Yep. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, Regina asked when the old interface will go away.
Regina, we were originally told September 15th Then we were told October 1st, so we're going to cross our fingers for tomorrow. Then we were told October 15th. What the last thing I was told, and I will research it and I can send an email out to everyone on this to let you know. But the last thing I was told is it depends on how you got your file, how you got your subscription, and they're slowly going to put it within the next month and a half, everyone will be converted. We have clients who have not been converted yet. So it is a hit or miss. Some of it is if you did it on your, I believe if you did it on your own through their website to set it up, those are going first. If you had it through a ProAdvisor, those are going next. Who knows when they're going to do, if you're a nonprofit and got your software through TechSoup, who knows when they're going to do those. So remember, there are over 2 million QuickBooks subscriptions. So it is going to take time for it to roll it out. So,
and if actually, can I say something, Laura?
yes.
If any of you have Bank of America as your bank,
Thank you.
within the next 2 weeks, you might get an email from Bank of America, from QuickBooks saying that you need to update your online banking through the bank feeds. So if you get that, it's not fraudulent. It's something Bank of America just is enhancing their security with QuickBooks.
And thank you, Amy, because I will add and I will show you how to change that. We are at 346. So went a little bit long with this, but I did the 2 sections. I'll go over the next section fairly quickly, but very quickly. All I need to do here is I need to select all these transactions. It didn't let me. I need to select. For some reason, it's not letting me do this, and I'm not quite sure why. But I would select the transaction, hit import. And once I import them, why is this doing this to me? There we go. Okay. Select the transactions, hit import. It didn't like that I still had my download screen open on my other screen. So quick. It's verifying everything and it's going to bring it right in to those transactions. So it's just a cool way to bring in all your transactions. Now we have this, and these are the transactions we just brought in. And now they're the same as this one. So you'll see that now twice. Love demo files. Very, very quickly. So what Amy was saying is if you're Bank of America or because of the new interface, the bank is changing their security and you see that it won't link in, what you'd want to do is actually disconnect, go to your chart of accounts, disconnect this bank account from here, and then go and do a link account, and that'll get it back in. Okay, get on that. Any other questions on banking? And I know I'm going a little bit long. I hope this has all been helpful. Let me just show you briefly the Customer Hub. So I'll go through Customer Hub and the other 3 areas on this. If we go down here, so what they've done is they separated out your Customer Hub and your sales. So if I click on Customer Hub, this is all customer information, not sales information. So this is where you will see your estimates if you're doing them, any progress projects if you're on advanced or plus. Your unpaid invoices will all show here. When we expand this, that's where our customer center is. In QuickBooks Online Advanced, they now have leads. So you could use it as a CRM package and bring in leads for your clients and your customers, and then they would turn into customers. We can do estimates right from here. And then you can also do contracts. You could create a contract for a signature. Not quite sure when you would do that and not an estimate, but it is there. You can play around with that. And they can also schedule appointments. So these are just the different things that they put into Customer Hub. But the main one that you're probably always going to go to is that's where you're going to find your customers. And then when you click on them, that is going to be the same as it was within the old interface. Versus sales. So sales was the old sales. Everything is still there except for customers. but I want to show you one new feature within here, and that is you can create invoices from a PDF. So I'm going to go to create an invoice. And it doesn't automatically pop up, but you'll see the little AI symbol over on the left. And I'm going to open that. And I'm going to autofill from a file. So I'm going to open that up and bring in. So let's say you are a contractor and everything you do is on paper. So you hand your customer a piece of paper, and then you have that piece of paper that you want to invoice from. You can actually bring that piece of paper right into QuickBooks. And that one failed. Let me do another one. You could bring I'm just doing it on PDF, but you could just bring it right in. This is my little scribble piece of paper. And it's actually going to fill in the invoice for me. You could also do this with an
Laura, you got
estimate.
about 9 minutes.
Thank you. I'm almost done. So you could do this with an estimate. What's great is it is saying if it does not see the product there, it will ask you if you want to create it. And it brought this straight in from that PDF. So it's a really nice easy way to put in invoices. And it's a fun new feature. The other feature that they've added is on the estimate side. And that is you can now take invoices. You can now accept payments on estimates. The only caveat with that is you need to be sending the invoice through QuickBooks, and they need to pay you with a QuickBooks payments method. So with ACH or credit card through QuickBooks payments. But if I send this, it will come up and there will be a payment link on here that they can approve it. That's a pending, I'm sorry. If I go here and I send it, they can actually pay right from it. That's what if I do a send on there is a button that they could do the payment. Because we don't have it in here, it's not set up. Very quickly, and I apologize for going a little bit longer. If I go to expenses, so your expenses are still the same, they're just under expenses. But with any bill, if you upload, we do the same thing. When we add a bill, the same way that I just did that invoice, you can upload a copy of a receipt or a copy of the bill, and it will create it right from there. And that is the same way, going here and uploading it, and it'll autofill it. The other thing is, and I'll show you where to find it, in bank transactions, it's been there for a while, but not here. In accounting, it used to be part of bank transactions. They separated it out to be receipts. Receipts are both bills and receipts. So if you have a bunch of bills, you can actually email them or drag and drop them right into the receipts, or you'll have a dedicated email address. They will come up for review, and you can actually then post them to a bill or an expense or a check. For those of you who use the old receipt bank, it's now Dext, sorry about that. It's now embedded right in QuickBooks. So we talked about the customer hub, autofilling from notes on estimates, uploading bills, payments from it. And then the other is reports. Within reports, in the next 3 minutes, just want to show you very quickly within the reports. For those of you who have advanced, they've now added your KPIs, your spreadsheet sync, performance center. So if you have advanced, they have expanded onto Onto the reporting. KPIs is pretty cool. It'll just tell you how you're doing, work through everything. And then your financial planning, if you have plus, you'll be able to see your forecast and budgeting. And then advanced adds the cash flow. In the other essentials and simple start, you'll just see your regular, standard, custom, and management reports. Let me just go to reports real quickly. The new format for reports. So right here, it says it's opening this in modern view. Where they've changed it in modern view is you can do a lot more filtering. You can filter reports to even say filter. I only want to see reports for a certain vendor or certain GL accounts. You can do your comparisons right from here, and you can even do your displays. So I can open this one report, go to display, go to transaction date, and say months, and it immediately will spread that out for me in one quick step. So these top display, compare, and filter, definitely play around with those, especially the filter. For those of you who subscribe or get our newsletter, if you don't, we'll give you a link later to get onto our website to subscribe. I've actually done some YouTube videos on that. You can find them on our website and on our newsletters. And one of my topics that's coming out tomorrow is customizing the reports. That's my little
Lori, there's a
shameless
question.
plug. Sure.
On the customer account page, is there a way to remove the payment deposit line showing?
Let me go to that. So on the you said on the customer
Account page.
Whoever asked that question, can you unmute and explain?
Esther.
It was Esther.
Is Esther still on?
Yeah, she's muted.
Esther, if you can unmute and explain what you were asking for. I am not seeing the deposit. I'm not quite sure where, Esther, I'm not quite sure where you're looking. Amy, if you can ask her to unmute.
I think she did just unmute.
Oh, you did. Oh, Esther. We can't hear
Because
you.
on an individual customer.
Oh, so yeah, so on an individual customer, you can actually customize what you want to see here. So you can say all transactions. So under type or all invoices. So when you're on the individual, and this will stay when I go to the next one. So you can change your type of what you want to see. Or I can say all transactions or all plus deposit. Did that answer your question?
Perfect, thank you.
Perfect.
Yes.
Any other questions? So just some other things very quickly. When you go to chart of accounts, it does list if they're a balance sheet or a or P&L. The other thing is on any transaction, no matter where you are with any transaction, you can always go and duplicate. So no matter where you are within QuickBooks, if you have any transaction, no matter what it is, it now gives you a quick copy. So those are just my other little interesting ones. We went through Q&A. Any other questions, Debbie or Amy?
No.
Nothing.
So Lori, are we gonna send, we mentioned a couple, oh yeah, our next webinar.
Okay, I will mention. So our next webinar is on December 10th. We will make sure that everyone that's on this one gets an invitation to it. It is going to be given by Amy, and she is going to be going to a deep dive into 1099. And then I'm going to leave this on screen for a little bit until everyone's off. This is just, thank you for joining us. The QR code gives you a link to our website that you can join, learn more about us. join our newsletter if you're not on it. It also gives you all of our information. You can always email us at info@siegelsolutions.com. And before you leave, I have one more poll. And the poll is for future, as we said, the next webinar is 1099. We would love to know what you're interested in learning in a future webinar in 2026 or the end of, that one's going to be December, or November. So for December and, future ones. So if you have any ideas, you can also email us or please put it into the poll.
Amy Martin is asking where she can get more information on dealing with reconciling Stripe.
We could definitely do that as a webinar. Amy Garneau, can you mark that down for a January webinar?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And have you done a white page on reconciling Stripe?
No, but I could.
So yeah, so Amy, I was to say, and you both spell Amy the same way, so I'm loving that. But yeah, we will put together a white page and publish
great.
it.
I don't find too many of that, so that's awesome. Yes, we can write that down. I can do a white paper because always looking for topics for my newsletter. Yeah. Okay, so Nikki Ward said this was very helpful.
Thank you.
Tom Murphy said yes. He thought it was helpful too. I would like to learn more about, so Amy Martin, more about invoicing and other being able to use products and services and how to deal with billing for company expenses. Okay. We could do a webinar on that too, Lori, actually. All right. Okay, well.
Perfect. Well, we are a little bit over the 4 o'clock mark, so thank you for staying a few extra moments. Thank you to everyone who joined us, and have a great day.
You too.
Are we going to keep the poll up for a couple more minutes?
Yeah, I'm going to keep the poll. I'm going to keep the poll up. I'm actually going to stay on, so if people will have a quick question, they can actually unmute and ask me. And that would be great. Also, we did record this. It was recorded through Zoom. You should be getting a copy, but we'll make sure that in our follow-up email that the link to it is included. And I'm actually going to end the poll. I'll leave it on for a minute.
Great job, Lori.
Thank you. Clay, I'll say hi before you get off. Hi, Donna. Danica is all close to left. That's it. And Amy Martin.
Thank you, Lori.
You're welcome, Clay.
Take care.
Okay. I'm going to stop my share. Okay, I'm going to end the meeting. Have a great day, everyone.